It's strange to have reached the point where I've cancelled my Xbox Game Pass, especially because it feels like only yesterday I was buying my Halo 3 Legendary Edition and taking my place in the phenomenon that was Halo. In reality, obviously this was a long time ago, but I'd just gotten a job working for Game UK, and as soon as my first paycheck cleared, I bought an Xbox Elite console in preparation for the up-and-coming launch of Halo 3. The build-up and excitement was awesome. I actually worked the store midnight launch and even managed to snag one of the store cutouts of the Master Chief before they sent it back, or it was binned. Those were the days, and the Xbox 360 generation was arguably the greatest in gaming history. Marred only, rather catastrophically, by the Red Ring of Death. Expectations were high for the next console. Online gaming was new, and the sky was the limit. Fast forward 18 years, and the situation probably couldn't be more opposite. Xbox has become as corporate and predictable as every other large developer. Now, given some of my previous videos, at this point you might be thinking, I quit because Microsoft are as woke and DEI infested as all the rest. And while I do think that's true, it's not the reason I finally pulled the trigger and cancelled my membership. Because let's not forget, Xbox Game Pass really is great value for money. However, the first nail in the proverbial coffin between me and Xbox was the Xbox One, aka the Xbo. Admittedly, I was a bonehead for still having faith and buying it. The writing was on the wall with this console from the start, and I was a first-hand witness to one of the worst marketed consoles in gaming history. For anyone who doesn't know, Microsoft decided that since they had gamers in the bank, yeah, right, it was time to assault the world's living rooms and turn the Xbox into an entertainment hub. And, well, we all know how that ended, with the Sony PlayStation 4 absolutely blowing Xbox out of the water. A position that Xbox still haven't ever recovered from, by the way. But I still had faith, so I absolutely rushed out to buy the updated Project Scorpio Edition console, and then subsequently bought the Xbox Series X too. Then about 6 months after buying my Series X, I realised that Xbox and Microsoft didn't give a monkeys that I'd just paid £500 for their newest, most powerful console. They were marketing everything for the Series S and forcing devs to make games compatible with a lower spec machine or be unable to release. And so gaming for Microsoft went from the hardcore to the lowest bidder. But surely us hardcore faithfuls would get something worthwhile at some point, right?
Wrong.
To add insult to injury, Xbox's exclusive game list was lackluster to say the least, with Game Pass offering a single ray of hope. At least it, paired with the big cross-platform games, was enough to make up for missing out on God of War and the rest of the Sony exclusives. Or at least, that's what I told myself. Then out of nowhere, the multiplayer for Halo Infinite launched, and for the first time since Reach, I'm back into the multiplayer scene, and it was glorious. It felt like Halo was finally back. We had to put up with the rubbish in Halo 4 and 5, and now 343 were finally going to deliver. No scopes and teabagging was back, and I hadn't realised how much I'd missed it. Xbox had finally found their groove, and we were going to see a big return to form. Or not. 343 botched the launch of Infinite so bad, most people gave up after they had played the same 6 maps for 12 months, and an open world campaign that failed to deliver any real thematic moments. And so Halo died. Now Microsoft have rebranded the same company with mostly the same people to keep making the same substandard experience we've come to expect from 343. And I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm done with Halo. Ironic that the franchise that brought me into Xbox is the same one that's helped push me out of it. All the while in the background of this, I'd constantly been playing games on my PC with Steam, and despite the standard compatibility and settings palaver, I found myself playing on the PC more and more. So much so, the console's basically become a Blu-ray and TV app player at this point. If I want to play an FPS, I'll just connect my Xbox controller via Bluetooth and off I go. And this is about when I realised I no longer cared about Microsoft and Xbox. All the years of misplaced faith, and I was happier buying games I actually wanted to play on Steam than scrolling through endless screens of the same old tired titles on the Game Pass library. And as if to confirm my newfound Xbox apathy, we then find out that the few decent exclusives we have, like the old Halos and the Gears of War games, are now going to be sold on the PlayStation 5. So, yeah. I mean, it really does beg the question of what is the point of Xbox now? They seem to be incapable of making any AAA exclusive games worth their weight. Just look at the total collapse of Starfield, a game we all waited a millennia for, only to be utterly disappointed. It's okay though, Todd Howard says it was meant to be shit. Look, I admit I reviewed it at a 7 out of 10, so clearly I was enjoying shipbuilding a bit too much. In hindsight, it's a 4 or 5 out of 10 at best, so please consider this a correction. And as a result, looking at this and some of the other things that have come out recently, it looks like Bethesda is no longer the gaming titan it used to be. This is all then followed up with the epic success that was Avowed, the most average modernity-infested fantasy game you could possibly imagine from another formerly great studio, Obsidian. I mean, these guys made Knights of the Old Republic 2 for God's sake, and now look at them. Don't worry though, it gets worse for Obsidian, as The Outer Worlds 2 looks to be no better than the first game, which at best felt like a cheap Fallout ripoff, with the occasional humorous moment unable to cover for the broken stealth and melee mechanics, or lift the general feeling of boredom. I'm going to draw the video to a close, but hopefully you can see the pattern too. Microsoft and Xbox is now a place where good games and studios go to die. They don't make games for hardcore gamers anymore, they make corporate approved, HR checkboxed content. Safe, iterative and predictable. Everything I don't want as a gamer. I just have no excitement for anything Xbox and Microsoft are doing, and I'd rather pick games and pay for them on Steam than support a company that's IP mining its game catalogue to produce an endless conveyor belt of the same old slop repackaged. I'm sure at some point in the future I'll reactivate my Game Pass subscription if and when a game I want to play is launched, but I'll be cancelling it as soon as I've completed it. All in all, Microsoft don't seem to care, so why should I? And I'm going to vote the only way I can, with my wallet. Anyway, go home Xbox, you're drunk. And as always, Erebus.